This is Pranav Rao from Smartkarma, and I'm pleased to have with me Vinod Nedumudy from HelixTap to talk through his recent insight on the climate uncertainty for rubber production. Vinod, appreciate your time today on the 20th of April. Could you talk us through the weather conditions in Southeast Asia so far in 2026 and how normal or abnormal it has been?
Thank you, Pranav, for inviting me to this talk. Essentially, weather is a very important phenomenon these days, considering the complexity involved. The climate change is impacting life, agriculture, and every aspect of life. So it is nice we have a discussion like this. So now I briefly go through how the weather was in early 2026, that is this year, and how it impacted rubber. Southeast Asia's rainfall pattern in the first 4 months of 2026 unfolded unevenly, combining short-lived wet phases with a broader shift towards drier conditions, creating a wintering phase in the rubber-producing regions. The year began under the influence of the northeast monsoon, which brought episodic but localized rainfall, particularly across maritime regions such as Indonesia, Malaysia, and parts of Philippines during January and February. These events, however, lacked regional uniformity. Meanwhile, mainland Southeast Asia, including key rubber-producing regions in Thailand and Vietnam, remained largely within their seasonal dry phase, limiting any significant buildup in moisture. This was mostly consistent with traditional patterns and not way off the mark. As the season progressed into March and April, the regional weather pattern transitioned into the inter-monsoon phase, typically characterized by reduced and variable rainfall. During this period, a clear drying bias began to emerge, particularly across southern parts of Southeast Asia. This shift was consistent with the weakening of La Nina conditions and a move towards ENSO-neutral dynamics, which tend to moderate rainfall intensity across the region. Consequently, precipitation levels during this phase were generally near to below normal. So overall, the January-April period cannot be classified as distinctly wet across Southeast Asia. Instead, it reflects a front-loaded rainfall distribution where early localized precipitation gave way to increasingly drier conditions heading into the second quarter. This evolving pattern holds particular relevance for agricultural commodities such as natural rubber, where the balance between soil moisture and tapping conditions is sensitive to both excess rainfall and emerging dryness. So Pranav, you understand the dynamics, how shifting from 2025 into 2026, how weather is changing like.
Mm-hmm.
If it is negative IOD impacting first phase, it is positive IOD coming into the second phase. So that's a different thing that I will explain. Tell me, please.
Got it. Understood. Thanks for that, Vinod. Could you briefly describe kind of the historic impact of El Nino on rubber yields and production, and what current expectations for the occurrence of El Nino in 2026 look like?
So historically, El Nino has exerted a broadly negative influence on natural rubber yields, primarily through its impact on rainfall patterns across Southeast Asia. El Nino years are typically associated with drier than normal conditions in key producing countries such as Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. In the initial phase, reduced rainfall can allow for more frequent wrapping. That is important, as weather-related disruptions decline. However, this short-term operational benefit is often outweighed by a decline in latex flow as soil moisture level falls and tree physiology comes under stress. This is also important. These are the contrasts happening in the phase. The more pronounced effects tend to emerge with a lag. That is also to be noted. Sustained dryness over several months can weaken trees, accelerate leaf fall, and reduce overall productivity, leading to lower yields in subsequent quarters. This delayed response means that the full impact of El Nino is often reflected not only during the event itself but also in the following production cycle. Historical episodes such as the 2015-16 El Nino and 1997-98 El Nino illustrate this pattern, where prolonged dry conditions contributed to noticeable declines in output across major rubber producing regions. In severe cases, extended drought conditions can cause structural damage, including stress to tapping panels and slower growth in immature trees, with implications that extend beyond a single season. While the degree of impact varies by region depending on local climate resilience and plantation practices, the overall historical trend remains consistent. El Nino tends to suppress rubber yields with effects that build gradually and persist even after weather conditions normalize. So this is basically the historical implication of El Nino. So if you want, I can finally throw some light on what is in store for the rest of 2026.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So we have a climate scientist who is observing this weather phenomenon keenly in a university called Cochin University of Science and Technology in Kerala, and he assists us in Helix Lab weather predictions for Southeast Asia also. And I spoke to him before this interaction, and he said that above normal temperature is expected for Southeast Asia region from May to July 2026. Below normal rainfall is expected over the region, including maritime continent region that comprises Indonesia and Malaysia and a part of Vietnam. Indian main landmass also will witness less rainfall. But by the end of May, the El Nino situation would evolve in the Pacific, and in response to that, most of the Southeast Asian region should expect above normal temperature from August to December also. So that is a kind of forecast. Regarding forecast, basically climate scientists tend to give a forecast for 7 days actually. That's a definite period they can say for sure, and they extend it to one month maximum. But this is a broader forecast. This being the El Nino year, the World Meteorological Organization also has said that this possibly will be an El Nino year. So this is the kind of forecast that is emerging right now. So part of Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, and the Indian region will experience above normal temperature with the possibility of forest fires also. That is important. So it is going to be a severe El Nino year that is being predicted right now. Rainfall will be below normal from August to December. Then this is as I said in the middle, a positive IOD is now predicted for August-December 2026. There's a difference between negative IOD that occurred last year and positive IOD. Because the negative IOD brings more rain to the Southeast Asia region. But a positive IOD brings less rain. A positive IOD is less rain. That's correct. Positive IOD can bring some rains for Indian southern peninsula region. That is the climate dynamics is behaving in that way. Suppose positive IOD can bring some rains for the Indian southern peninsula. However, this can accentuate the El Nino heat condition in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So that is the when we observe the climate phenomenon, we should identify these aspects. So an important factor is that this year is predicted to be a strong El Nino year and temperature will be above normal. So this can have a lengthened negative impact on rubber production as enumerated earlier. Last year it was a negative IOD and La Nina, and this year it is El Nino and positive IOD, and 2 consecutive years of climate extreme for Southeast Asia. That is we must know the impacting the agriculture sector. That is the bottom line.
Understood. Thanks for the call today, Vinod. And listeners, check out Helix Lab's coverage of all things rubber on Smartkarma and tune into our next Smart Call. Thank you.